So now that we have the layout ready, the next thing we need to do is we need to write the code that connects our layout with our Firebase database. So let's open our Firebase console and go into our app. Inside our app, what we do is we click on Authentication and click on Setup a Sign-in method. Here, let's enable email password authentication. That's all we require to do in the Firebase console. Let's come back to the code editor. Here, as you remember from the first video of the series, we had added Firebase to our application and we imported Firebase here at the top. Also, before we start, let's just create one more button here, which is going to be the sign up button. So let's just copy this button down here. Call the text sign up and change the type to primary. There we have the sign up button ready. Just to make it a little better, let's change the color of the text from black to white. I'm just going to paste that in here. So that looks better and we're ready to go. So first let's create the constructor method which should hold the state. So coming here to the top above the render method, let's create the constructor. Pass in the props and always call super props when creating the constructor. Inside this, let's set the state. First one will be email. The second one will be password. Here we'll create two methods now. One will be sign up user, which will take the email and the password. Second one will be a login user method, which will also take the same parameters. Now let's set these two methods on the buttons. Coming here, the first button, which is a login button, we'll say on press is equal to this.login user and pass in the email and the password that the user has entered. So we'll say this.state.email, comma this.state.password. Coming here to the sign up button, in the on press we'll say this.signup_user, and we'll say this.state.email and this.state.password. So we've added the methods to the buttons, but there's no place where we're updating the state of the email and the password. So let's do that. In the input method of email, we'll put an onChangeText method, which will take the email and update it to the state. By using this.setState, I will put in email. Then on the other input method, we'll do the same thing. We'll say onChangeText is equal to password, this.setState, password. What the onChangeText methods do basically is, anytime a user enters anything in the email or password text fields, the particular states are updated simultaneously. Next, let's write the code for the sign up user and the login user methods. So when the user clicks the sign up button, we will try and sign up the user in the Firebase database. What we'll do is we'll put a try and catch block here. So the catch block is basically handling any error inside our try block and pasting it out here for us. So we'll just do console.log error.toString. In the try block, let's run the method that Firebase provides us to create the new user. For that, we'll just run a small check to see if the password entered by the user is greater than 6 characters or not. So we'll say if this.state.password.length is less than 6, we'll alert to the user that please enter at least 6 characters. And we'll just return so that the rest of the method does not run. Otherwise, if the password is above 6 characters, we can just run firebase.auth.create user with email and password and pass in the email and password. So let's test this out. Let's put in the email address and put in the password, and let's try and sign up. Coming here to a Firebase database, if you just refresh this, we see that the user has been added. So now that the user is signed up, let's try and log the user in to see if the user is logging in with that username and password. So again, inside the login user function, let's create a try block and a catch block. Now let's come to the try block and log the user in. So we'll say firebase.auth.sign in with email and password. Pass in the email and the password. This will return a promise to us, so we can say .then function get the user console.log the user. So basically, this should return us the user's details. When we log these in, we should be able to see it in our console. So let's try that. Let's put in unshoreprogrammer@gmail.com. Put in the password, open up the Expo client, clear this out, and click on login. And there we can see we've got the data back. There we've got the API key, we've got the user's email ID. We don't have any other data of the user yet. So that just shows that this is the user's data that is returned to us. Now we can use this data to take the user to some other page and do whatever we want with that data. This is just a basic implementation of how to create a sign up and a login method using Firebase.